Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Also, Happy New Year. So this is the first video for 2025. It's only fitting that it's a book video. So at the end of the year, Barnes & Nobles usually has a book sale. Of course, I bought myself some books, a treat to myself, from myself. Now, it's a big box. Yeah. It's a big, heavy box. And I've been waiting to open said box for this haul. I think I got a total 8 books, maybe 10, less than 10. I kind of forgot. But a lot of these books had been on my TBR, and then some of them are new releases, and some of them I got for exclusive edition. So with this Barnes & Noble sale, I got 50% off select hardcovers, and then certain hardcovers were only 1/3 off, which is like 33%. But if you're a Barnes & Noble's premium member, like I am, you get a 10% off everything. So with that 1/3 off, I also got my 10% on top of that. I was not able to combine my 10% with the select hardcovers that were 50% off. It was fine. And then all of them are hardcovers except for one. One of them is a paperback, but I was still able to get a discount on that. So we're gonna open these up and start with this haul. If you heard me struggling, I was. But at least it was wrapped good. We have all my paper. And then I'll be putting the prices on the screen, like the original price, and then the discounted price of what I got it for. And I'm pretty sure these prices on here are correct, but I'll just double check. So we're gonna start with the one paperback that I got. Oh, she's so pretty. So this is the Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. She's stunning. And I was actually going to get the Barnes & Noble's special edition, but that one sold out really fast, and that was a hardcover. So I ended up getting the paperback, which honestly I think the paperback is prettier anyway, because she has her edges done, and like we still have end pages in a paperback, which aren't like a usual thing. But if I'm correct, this is supposed to be in the same world as one of her series, the Serpent and Dove series. But I don't know if you necessarily need to read that series before reading this one. I haven't read that one yet, but I want to read this one. So let's get into it. Darkness is coming for us, Sally. I guess that's how you say it. It's coming for you too. Someone is coming for Sally, leaving bodies in its wake, each one decorated with twin puncture wounds in its throat. And the closer he gets to her, the more tempted Sally feels to give in to his dark hungers and her own. A dark and thrilling romantasy set in the world of the New York Times best-selling Serpent and Dove series. And then on the back it has an excerpt. Exhaling slowly, he stares right back, his black eyes narrowing as if I'm a puzzle he cannot quite solve. You're doing it again, he says. I look away quickly. Doing what? Romanticizing nightmares. And on the front, it says, she lived for the light, he showed her the dark. And I think the Serpent and Dove series that it talks about, my friend Hannah might have read, so I'm gonna ask her, because this is also on her TBR. So I think this is like vampires. I could be wrong. I mean, obviously 2 puncture wounds, it's giving vampires, but I think this is a vampire romantasy. I'm not sure what Serpent and Dove is, if it's just like a big fantasy world or if there are specific fantasy characters in that. So I'm gonna look into that, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's really good, and this is actually on the thicker side of a romantasy. Some of them are quick and some of them are thick. And people say when it's a thick romantasy book, that just means there's more detail. We love that. And it helps that she's so pretty. And I don't know if this is a standalone. Oh, haha, it is not. It's the start of a series. So the second book is called The Shadow Bride. But there's a total of 627 pages. Yeah, she's a thick girl with a couple C's. And then the original price is $16.99, and I got it for, yeah, where's this book? $13.49. Okay, so there we have it, our first book. Moving on to Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So this is a republished version. The series has been out. I had never heard of it until it was getting republished. And so I think it's maybe like 7 books in the series or something. I know books 1 and 2 are out. I don't know when the other ones are getting republished, but they're all getting republished in this style with edges done. And that's about it. And what drew me to this is it's kind of like an alien love story. And I was thinking of Race to Witch Mountain. If you've seen that, when the aliens come down but they look like humans, it's kind of that scenario. Starting over sucks. When we moved to West Virginia right before my senior year, I'd pretty much resigned myself to thick accents, dodgy internet access, and a whole lot of boring, until I spotted my hot neighbor with his looming height and his eerie green eyes. Things were looking up, and then he opened his mouth. Damon is infuriating, arrogant, stab-worthy. We do not get along at all. But when a stranger attacks me and Damon literally freezes time with a wave of his hand, well, something unexpected happens. The hot alien living next door marks me. You heard me, alien. Turns out Damon and his sister have a galaxy of enemies wanting to steal their abilities, and Damon's touch has me lit up like the Vegas Strip. The only way I'm getting out of this alive is by sticking close to Damon until my alien mojo fades. If I don't kill him first, that is. So I actually talked to my friend Crystal about this. Crystal has read the series and she enjoyed it. So I'm banking on I'm going to enjoy it. Oh, I also didn't show the edges down here, but that's kind of it. And apparently there's like other aliens besides Damon and his sister that are also in this world, but homegirl essentially gets dragged into this by seeing what he can do, but obviously she's not taking advantage of him. So then they're kind of like on the run from the other enemies that are following him while trying to keep this a secret on Earth. Yeah. And I don't know what's happening for like 7 books along in the series, but I'm locked in. Also, it's not like it's super thick, so maybe like all of the books are this length, which is why it's so many. I don't know, but it sounds good enough for me. And on the back, it says beautiful face, beautiful body, horrible attitude. It was the holy trinity of hot boys. So there we have her. And this one has a total of 402 pages, which you might think it's a lot, but it's not, because the text on the page is actually pretty big. I don't want to show the text and then it spoils something, but yeah, the text is pretty big. And then the original price is $24.99, and I got it for $12.49. Moving on, we have Burning Crowns by Katherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. So this is the third and final book in the Twin Crowns trilogy. So I'm in the middle of actually reading the second one right now. So I'm not going to read the back of this because that will spoil it for me. But I've shown all of the books on my channel at this point, you know, with having this one. I got the Twin Crowns in a Goodreads giveaway and read it, and I really enjoyed it. So then I got the second one, and now I finally have the third one to see how things end. And where I'm at in the second book, it's picked up and it's really good. So looking forward to having this one so I can completely finish things. But yeah, she's good. And I'll just do like the pages and everything since I'm not gonna read the back. We have a total of 465 pages, and then the original price was $19.99, and I got it for $9.99. So we have it. Then we have Sleep Like Death by Bayron. So love her, everything she writes, chef's kiss. This is set in the world of Cinderella is Dead. I've shown Cinderella is Dead on my channel before. It's basically your known fairy tales with a twist. So I'm pretty sure this is picking up shortly after Cinderella is Dead, but I know it takes place after Cinderella is Dead. I don't know how intertwined they are to the fact that you need to read that one first or not, but I would just say for an optimal reading experience, just read Cinderella is Dead first. It's really good, and then read this one. And I've shown some of her other books on my channels as well, so we've been looking forward to having this one. Eve is ready to be the Queen's sword, to be her vengeance. Princess Eve was raised with one purpose: to destroy the night. Far too many generations of Queensbridge have been terrorized by this evil sorcerer's trickery. Eve's own unique magic, the ability to conjure weapons from nature, makes her a worthy adversary. As she approaches her 17th birthday, Eve is ready to battle. But her mother, Queen Regina, has been acting bizarre, talking to a strange mirror alone every night. Then a young man claiming to be the knight's messenger appears and shares a shocking truth about Eve's past. Unsure of who to trust, Eve must find the courage to do what she's always done: fight. But will it be enough to save her family and her queendom? Best-selling author Bayron returns to the world of her groundbreaking debut, Cinderella is Dead, with a captivating standalone reimagining of Snow White's tale. So it says it's a standalone, so I guess, you don't have to read them together, but they're in the same universe, so just read them together. So I don't really have much to go off about this. I'm assuming her mother, Queen Regina, is gonna have some sketchy stuff happening. I don't know what this knight's messenger has to share about Eve's past. I wonder if it has something to do with Regina. And I wonder if it's taking that classic spin on Queen Regina is actually evil. Maybe she just goes mad from talking to the mirror and Eve has to like save everyone. Yeah, and she may or may not fall for the knight's messenger. I don't know. We'll see, because it's not really giving too much that's gonna happen, but that could potentially happen. They're probably gonna have to go off together to solve something, and that's what we have. Oh, and these are some of her other books. I've shown all of these on my channel and I've read them all. So this has a total of 344 pages, and then the original price is $19.99, and I got it for $9.99. Next we have The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. She's stunning, and we have edges. So it's described to be like a dark romantasy Mulan inspired retelling. That sounds amazing. And Never Trust a Dragon is on the hardcover itself, and then the book does have edges, in pages. So pretty. Yeah, everyone has been talking about this book, and Mulan is one of my top 5 princesses, so to have a retelling by her is definitely up my alley. I do love a good retelling inspired whatever, and I haven't read one that was Mulan inspired before, so I am really looking forward to this one for that specific reason. I'm also not sure if this is a standalone or a start to a series. Okay. Raised to obey, destined to rebel. The three kingdoms are at war, but Maylin's father refuses to answer the imperial draft. Trapped by his opium addiction, he plans to sell Maylin for her dowry. But when Maylin discovers her husband-to-be is another violent, ill-tempered man, she realizes that nothing will change for her unless she takes matters into her own hands. The very next day, she disguises herself as a boy and enlists in her father's place. In the army, Maylin's relentless hard work brings her recognition, friendship, and a growing closeness with Sky, a prince turned training partner. But has she simply exchanged one prison for another? As her kingdom barrels toward destruction, Maylin begins to have visions of a sea dragon spirit who offers her true power and freedom at a deadly price. With the future of the three kingdoms hanging in the balance, Maylin will need to decide whom to trust. Sky, who inspires her loyalty and love, the sea dragon spirit who has his own murky agenda, or an infuriating enemy prince who makes her question everything she once knew about her kingdom and her own heart. So it's giving love triangle. I usually don't like love triangles, but you know, we love an enemies to lovers. Enemies to lovers is always great. But I'm wondering, how soon is Maylin going to be introduced to this enemy? Because depending on how soon it happens in the book, we could have another book again, because I'm not sure with our page count if everything's going to be wrapped up in this book or if we're going to get a second book. Because, you know, at first I thought she was going to be with Sky, but when they said enemy, it's looking like it's going to be the enemy prince. But why is he an enemy prince? I'm here for it. It's good to me. Sounds good to me. It has a total of 419 pages. Oh, beautiful. To be continued. So there is hope for Maylin and the enemy prince. So I think it's going to start with a relationship with Sky, but like a down low relationship, because she is disguised as a boy. So I don't know who's going to figure out she's a female first, Sky or the enemy prince, but it's looking like the enemy prince. For that to be continued. Love it. I'm here for it. And then the original price for this book is $30, and I got it for $15. All right, moving on. We have The Crimson Crown by Heather Walter, and this is the Barnes & Noble's exclusive edition. She is pretty. So this is like a Snow White retelling vibe, but focusing on the queen, if I'm correct. Yeah, here we go. Snow White's Dark Queen tells her side of the story in this queer, witchy reimagining of the classic fairy tale from the author of Malice. Now, I have not read Malice, but Malice is on my list. I'm pretty sure Malice is a Dark Sleeping Beauty retelling, so I don't know if they're necessarily in the same world, if you have to read them together, or if this is like a standalone aspect. Legends tell of a witch who became a queen, the heartless villain in the story of Snow White. But now the wicked queen is stepping out of Snow White's shadow to become the heroine of her own legend. Her real once upon a time begins when she's just Aleith, if I said that right, a young witch who lives in the forest with her coven. The witches practice their magic in secret, hiding from the White King and his brutal war against witchcraft. Aleith, however, faces a war of her own. Her magical gifts have yet to reveal themselves, and as the threat of the royal huntsman intensifies, Aleith fears she will never become the witch her coven needs. To prove herself, Aleith sets out on a perilous quest that sends her to the White Palace, a decadent world of drama and deceit. There, Aleith encounters an unlikely figure from her past, Jaquetta, a witch who once held Aleith's heart and betrayed her. As events at the palace escalate, Aleith finds herself caught in the web of the White King, whose dark charisma is as dangerous as the sinister force that seems to be haunting the palace, and perhaps even Elaith herself. With the threat of discovery looming, Elaith and Jaquetta must set aside wounds of their past and work together to survive, as she uncovers the secrets of the White Court and those of her own heart. Elaith must find the strength to transform into someone she never imagined she could be, a powerful witch, the very wickedest of them all. And on the back, before the apple was poisoned, before the mirror was cursed, a witch became a queen, and a queen became a villain. Her story has been shrouded in shadow, but now she will rise. And on the front, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the wickedest of them all? So I'm wondering if this White King is Snow White's dad. If so, like, how far in are we like talking? Like, what is I want to know our timeline, and if Snow White is even like in this story, because I don't think Elaith is Snow White's actual mom. It's just supposed to be like married, and she's supposed to be a stepmother. So like, what's happening? And it's seeming like the White King is bad. And you know, in Snow White's story, he's always pictured as this like good guy who dies doing X, Y, and Z. So maybe he was never a good guy to begin with. But also, like, how does Elaith end up being queen? I'm literally, when I tell you, I'm always down for a reimagining, inspired, whatever. So to see like the Evil Queen story, that'll be interesting. I have also read a retelling of the Queen of Hearts, her story by Marissa Meyer. It was called Heartless, which was really good. So I have high hopes to see what the Evil Queen side of things were, and for her to be a witch, that's actually also pretty cool. So we have a total of 528 pages, a little bit on the thick side. And then the original price was $29.99, and I got this for $14.99. All right, next we have The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. This is the Barnes & Noble's exclusive edition. Look at this metallic gold edges, stunning. And then we have artwork on the hardcover itself, so pretty. And we have in pages. So I've read all of Erin's books that she has, and I'm pretty sure I've shown them on my channel before. All of them, I think. But so here's a few of them right here. House of Salt and Sorrow, and then House of Roots and Ruin go together. That's a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. You have to read House of Salt and Sorrow first, and then Small Favors is its own book, but it's kind of like a mystery vibe, not so much thriller. But I saw this one, and look at her. She's stunning. She's pretty. My friend Hannah also bought this book. I'm not sure much of what this one is about, but like Erin writes a lot of bangers. So I invested in this book, and it helps that she's very pretty to look at. Okay. Hazel Trepas has always known she wasn't like her siblings, a 13th child, promised to one of the gods. She spends her childhood waiting for her benefactor, Merrick, the god of death, to arrive and take her away. When he does, he lays out exactly what he has planned for Hazel's future. She will become a great and celebrated healer. To aid her endeavors, Merrick blessed Hazel with a gift, the ability to instantly deduce the exact cure needed to treat the sick. But all gifts come with a price. Hazel can see when death has claimed a patient and is tasked with ending their suffering permanently. Haunted by the ghosts of those she's killed, Hazel longs to run, but destiny brings her to the royal court where she meets Leopold, a rakish prince with a disdain for everyone and everything. And that's where Hazel faces her biggest dilemma yet. Should she save the life of a king marked to die, Hazel knows what she is meant to do and what her heart is urging her toward, but what will happen if she goes against the will of death itself? From the astonishing mind of Erin A. Craig comes the breathtakingly fairy tale retelling readers have been waiting for. What does a life well lived mean? And how do we justify the impossible choices we make for those we love? I don't know what retelling this is, but I'm invested. So I think Hazel is probably going to get to know Leopold and probably fall in love with Leopold, and she's not going to want to kill Leopold, obviously. But it seems like she's not going to want to go against death either, because she hasn't said no to him prior to killing all these other people. So I don't know where we are with that. And also, this book is pretty thick. I think it's like probably Erin's thickest book, so maybe there's a lot of back and forth going on. I'm wondering if she ends up like running away from death and that's how she gets to Leopold early, or maybe she's always going to them this early but she doesn't take the time to get to know them, so she probably takes the time to get to know Leopold. That makes sense, I think. So this book has a total of 506 pages. So yeah, she's very thick. And then the original price is $20.99, and I got this one for $18.89. We're almost done. So next we have The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary A. Pearson. Everyone is talking about this book. It's a romantasy. I love a good romantasy. As you can see, she has edges. She's also thick, so that means there's a lot of detail in this book. I'm looking forward to the detail, and I'm also pretty sure this is the start of a series. Oh, and this author also wrote the Dance of Thieves duology, which is on my list. I don't know if that necessarily connects to this. And the Remnant Chronicles, which that's 3 books. And the Remnant Chronicles and the Dance of Thieves duology are set in the same world. Hannah's read the Dance of Thieves duology without reading the other series, and she said it's fine, but they do a lot of world building in the first one. So I don't know if this is yet again another extension or this is a separate world entirely. Okay. Dangerous Fae, Dark Secrets, Addictive Romance. After losing both their parents, Bristol Keats and her sister struggle to stay afloat in their small, quiet town of Bowes Keep. When Bristol begins to receive letters from an aunt she's never heard of who promises she can help, she reluctantly agrees to meet and discovers that everything she thought she knew about her family is a lie. Her father might even still be alive, not killed, but kidnapped by terrifying creatures and taken to a whole other realm, the one he is from. Desperate to save her father and find the truth, Bristol journeys to a land of gods and fae and monsters. Pulled into a dangerous world of magic and intrigue, she makes a deadly bargain with a fae leader, Tigan. But what she doesn't know is that he's the one that drove her parents to live a life on the run. And he is just as determined as she is to find her father, dead or alive. So it's definitely going to be enemies to lovers, because once homegirl find out what Tigan did to her parents, she's not going to want to be with him. But I think it's going to be too late by then, because they might have already developed a relationship. And then Tigan might go back on his word of doing whatever he's supposed to do to her father, because then he cares about her. That's what I'm thinking. Again, this book is super thick, so there's a lot to go on. And I would assume we're first gonna dive into like her family and this world before we're introduced to Tigan, and then they go on whatever journey. I think they're gonna go on a journey together to find her father, because she's making a bargain with him, so I'm assuming they're gonna have to stay together. And I don't know, we might find her father in this first book, or it might end on like a cliffhanger and go to the second book, because again, this is a thick book. I don't know, but I'm here for it. I am here, and this book has a total of 545 pages, so yes, the thick side. And then the original price for this book was $32.99, and I got it for $16.49. We only have 2 more books. So now we have Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang. This is a romantasy. We love romantasies. Also, look at her pretty red edges. And then this also has a map on the inside. For our end pages, I don't know, yeah, if it's on this side too. But I've heard really good things about this. I don't know if this is the start of a series or if this is a standalone, but people have been raving about this book, so I'm looking forward to it. The first woman ever admitted to a prestigious order of mages unravels a secret conspiracy that could change the practice of magic forever in this standalone dark fantasy from the author of The Sword of Kraken. So there we have it, standalone. That means we're gonna get a conclusion at the end of this book. For 20 years, Sayona has devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible. To be the first woman ever admitted to the high magistracy at the University of Magics and Industry. When Sayona finally passes the qualifying exam and becomes a high mage, she finds her challenges have just begun. Her new colleagues are determined to make her feel unwelcome, and instead of a qualified lab assistant, they give her a janitor. What neither Sayona nor her peers realize is that her taciturn assistant was not always a janitor. 10 years ago, he was a nomad hunter who lost his family on their perilous journey from the wild plains to the city. But now he sees the opportunity to understand the forces that decimated his tribe, drove him from his homeland, and keep the privileged in power. At first, mage and outsider have a factious relationship, but working together, they uncover an ancient secret that could change the course of magic forever, if it doesn't get them killed first. So obviously Sayona and the janitor, who is also has some history to him, his little backstory, are going to end up on a journey together, and I'm also assuming that's going to be her love interest, because that's really the only person that's mentioned aside from the peers that don't like her. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, it gives you some stuff of what's happening, but like not too much to go off of. So like Sayona is just gonna go on this journey with this guy who is a nomadic hunter, and I'm wondering, because like it's saying his tribe was decimated, and because they think he's a janitor, do they not do background on him? Do they not know the extent of whatever his like history is? And I wonder if like Sayona is gonna figure that out, or if he's just gonna tell her as they're on this journey. I don't know. And then we have a total of 428 pages, so not super thick, but again, like, we're gonna get the conclusion in this one because it's a standalone, so we'll see. And then on the back it says Sayona stepped into the circle toward her destiny, or toward the end of everything. And the original price for this book is $29.99, and I got it for $14.99. Now we're getting to our last book. This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. This has been on my list for a while, and I didn't get it when it first came out, but that's okay because I have it now. But it's a vampire romantasy. I got a lot of romantasies in this haul, but y'all, they're so good. How could you not? And also look at this cover. It's really pretty. And I'm not sure if this is a standalone or the start to a series. Yeah. Oh, it's also supposed to be like a forbidden love, because if I'm correct, it's like a vampire and then a vampire hunter. Okay. At night in Harlem, the jazz clubs come to life, and death waits in the dark. It's 1926, and reapers are growing stronger everywhere. Created centuries ago by a cruel medical experience, these once human vampires were driven to attack without mercy. Those who protect the city from them hold more power than even the organized criminals who run the nightclubs. As the reluctant heir to her father's Reaper hunting empire, Elise Saint knows that the Harlem Reapers want her dead. Among them is Layla Quinn, who lost her parents, the protection of the Saints, and her humanity the night she was turned into a Reaper. And she'll never forget how Elise Saint betrayed her. A wave of mysterious killing shocks the city, forcing Elise and Layla to work together to find out if some Reapers are turning human again, or becoming even deadlier. As their investigation takes them from glittering parties to gangster underworlds, the two must confront their complicated feelings for each other, for a new kind of evil is on the rise, one that will destroy Reapers and humans alike if they don't stop it. So I'm wondering if Layla was also a Reaper. I think that's right. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I'm saying this right. But I wonder if Layla was also, you know, once one of them with Elise, and then the vampires like came for them and killed her parents and then turned her. And so Elise and everybody turned their back on Layla. And so she has this grudge against her. Hopefully I explained that right. But that's what I'm thinking. And that's why I'm thinking they're enemies, because maybe that's how Elise betrayed her. No, there could be some other situation that caused Elise to betray her, but that's what I'm thinking. And I guess once these mysterious killing comes to be, Elise and Layla somehow cross paths, and now they're working together to figure things out. And obviously along the way they're gonna fall in love, or at least get like a better understanding of what happened for the betrayal. We'll get that explanation, and then, you know, fall in love. That's what I think. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything that says it's going to continue, so this might be the end. Like, this might be a standalone, but it has a total of 456 pages, so kind of thick. And then the original price was $18.99, and I got it for $9.49. So that was my book haul. Love it, love it, love it. And actually, Barnes & Noble is still doing select hardcovers 50% off. I don't know when that's supposed to end, but last time I checked, they're still doing that sale. I think it's both online and stores. Again, I don't know how long for. So like, go while you still can, because they won't be doing another big sale like this until the summer. So yeah, those are my books. We got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books. 10. And I'm just gonna show them all again, and that's it. So This Ravenous Face by Haley Dennings. Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang. The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. The Crimson Crown by Heather Walter. The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. Yeah, make sure I say that right. Sleep Like Death by Kaylon Bayron. Burning Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And then The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. That's my stack of books. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, this nice little haul I have. And to start off 2025 good. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button down below. Peace and blessings, my loves.